to Summoner's Rift for TSM versus Cloud9. TSM rocking a pretty scary team fight composition. Cloud9 looking to find some 1v1s there in the side lane.
Crowd already getting involved, and they always are when it's C9 TSM. A bitter rivalry here between these two teams. So much history.
And as we heard from the players before this match kicked off, the last time they played was last split in a best-of-5 that went the distance. Ultimately, a reverse sweep from TSM. Cloud9 have got to just be itching for that revenge.
Yeah, they really do want to prove that they can take down TSM here today. You know, and posture well, you know, to try to go towards Worlds, right? That is the penultimate goal. That is that goal for all these teams in summer. And Cloud9, TSM both pegged as top contenders, as people that were expected to be going towards Worlds, and they really want to be showing that they can compete with the best and challenge for a championship.
And looking at Keystones, kind of getting ourselves ready with the amount of information that we have at level 1, you can see the lethal tempo on the Varus at least tells us that it's not going to be the super poke-heavy type of Varus, which honestly would be a pretty terrible build in this game, considering your opponents will be stacking so much armor. Lethality's not going to cover too much ground there. Everything else is pretty par for the course. Conqueror on both mid laners means those extended fights are going to get scrappy.
Yeah, you can see it's Conqueror Yasuo. Yesterday we saw Fleet. This is certainly to do with the fact that, you know, there is going to be a lot of armor being stacked. It's less about a pokey lane. When he was going up against the Rise yesterday, you had to deal with more harassment in that way. And Licorice and Broken Blade brawling, but Poppy can brawl very, very well with the Irelia in those early levels, especially. Can be difficult for the Irelia to be winning those trades back. You know, you have the Buckler to proc the ranged grasp hit here with Poppy. You can harass with that, and in the bot side.
Nice hook onto Zeyzal there is going to buy TSM about half of Cloud9's support's health bar. Good early trade, taking advantage of the level 2.
Yeah, Cloud9 just too slow to actually back off with that level 2 coming in. They were backing off, but just a split second too late, and does cost Smoothie a potion and a fair bit of his health there. Rather, Zeyzal.
Bottom side, Zeyzal and Sneaky are going to be trying to just keep things farmed up down here, make sure Sneaky's relevant as the game goes on. Although Cloud9 has been looking good so far in the first couple weeks of play in this split, it hasn't really been the Sneaky and Zeyzal show.
No.
It's been much more about the top half of the map. Sneaky and Zeyzal just lose and then still do a good job later on in the game, but they're not the ones doing the heavy lifting, putting Cloud9 in the spot where they can win the game. So them falling behind a little bit early, taking a couple bad trades, being underneath the turret, not too big of a worrying sign.
Yeah, not the end of the world, you know, and a lot of that, to be fair to them, has been somewhat matchup dependent, right? Yeah. You know, playing, you know, Ezreal Braum yesterday into Sivir Yuumi, that is going to be a bit of a nightmare matchup. They were losing very heavily as a result. Lasona Taric, you are expected to go behind, but the questions have been, you know, are they going further behind than they should be? Are they losing by too much in some of these lanes? And you know, that is where I think a lot of people kind of have been pointing. You know, there are some worries perhaps about Cloud9's bottom lane, but Varus Braum, strong 2v2. They should be set up pretty well here. And Nisqy, I think Svenskeren's behind him, yeah.
Svenskeren coming in over the wall, going to be a full-on 2v2. Nice wind wall to block away the Skarner stun onto Nisqy, who's going in even further onto Bjergsen. First blood over to Cloud9, and they turn the play around.
Yeah, and that, honestly, I'm kind of surprised TSM even went for it. That, to me, seemed like such an obvious bait.
Yeah.
When you see the Skarner and you're running back towards him, you need to know that the jungler has got to be there. And they lost that 2v2 even though the body slam missed from Svenskeren, so that was not really close at all. TSM, I mean, look at this. When Nisqy turns back around, that's basically screaming, my jungler is here. Svenskeren not able to connect with the body slam, but Windwall actually blocking the Skarner. Either they're able to go forward with the ignite and do get that kill onto Bjergsen. So TSM certainly overstaying their welcome and posturing too aggressively in that 2v2. That's 2 days, 2 first bloods for Nisqy's Yasuo.
If Skarner does not land his E into stun combo early on, he's pretty laughable in terms of what he does with damage. For those who aren't aware, Skarner's Q is one of the lowest base damage abilities in the game early on. It scales off of total AD, and he doesn't have a lot. So Grig couldn't contribute a whole lot to that fight, and now it's going to be a 3 versus 2. Bjergsen having to get himself away. Nice jump over to the craft to get himself away, but Grig now has to also hightail it out of here. Body slam coming after that Scorpion. Grig getting himself away, doesn't have to use the flash. Broken Blade makes his way down to ensure that one. Could still be a 3v3, but not something that TSM wants to fight right now. They'll disengage this.
Yeah, good job escaping there from TSM. Bjergsen able to dodge the Irelia stun and then use the chains on the scuttle to actually get some distance and get out of there. Certainly could have gone down otherwise, as he didn't have the flash from that earlier fight. So the TSM will disengage, and the scuttle does go their way, so feeling pretty good about that. But you can already see what the game plan is going to be here from Cloud9 just based on this vision. I mean, just look at this line of wards here up in the topside river all along here. 3 pink wards already. You want to be seeing Svenskeren playing to that side. He wants to be ganking for those solo laners. They are the win condition, and they're setting up their vision around that.
And that's what you like to see. This is what I was talking about with playing around those win conditions. You don't just draft these 1v1 laners and then say, all right, guys, you got pretty solid 1v1ers, so go do some 1v1s. It'll be great. See you later at 20 minutes. You've got to look out for them. You got to nurture and protect those laners so they can grow up to be big and strong and bonk the other guys in the side.
Yeah, especially when you're staring over at this composition that is going to be stacking so much armor. You can see Broken Blade already rushing towards that Sunfire cape.
Yep.
You know, that makes it so easy to actually keep your grasp active. Once you have the Balmy Cinder, you can actually stand on the outside of the wave and just have the burn on one minion to be constantly proccing that grasp and having it active so you can use it for those buckler trades. Makes it even more difficult, you know, for Licorice in that 1v1. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him going, you know, into kind of that 1v1 style fighting build, you know, where you go Iceborne second, you have a lot of CDR, you have a lot of trading power, and that can keep you very relevant in the 1v1 for a super long time in the game. Becomes so tough for these dash-reliant champions to kind of win out on these trades.
Broken Blade will lose out on that trade a little bit there, but as you said, Sunfire Iceborne, kind of the 2-item trademark of Poppy against an AD-heavy team, makes the champion a real nightmare. Even coming into the fight, she can provide a surprising amount of damage in the mid-game.
Yeah.
We start getting into those 5v5s, potentially around the Grig pit. As Zven's going to be taken down to about 200 HP here in the bottom lane. Nisqy and Zeyzal getting the better of that trade, but no summoners for either side. Spin.
Yeah, he does have to be careful because Ignite is available. Both Nisqy and Zven quite low here. Those ricochets coming through and poking onto Nisqy. And Licorice doing a good job actually hitting these stuns and being able to trade as a result of that. Broken Blade just not quite able to get the stun onto the wall. If you do get that, it's going to be such a powerful trade because not only do you get the bonus damage from that, you are guaranteed to hit both parts of your Q. When you get that detonation, that is where a lot of the damage is from that Poppy.
Broken Blade is a player who, when he first showed up last split, I wasn't particularly impressed with his performance. He had a couple of rough games. Took him a while to really come online, but especially during their playoffs performance, I think he exploded. Really made things work out, and now he's threatening Licorice, almost able to take him down, forces the flash over the wall as the Cloud9 top laner gets away.
Yeah, there you go. The power of that Poppy. They trade ults, and he gets the flash as Bjergsen was coming up on the realm. But even in the 1v1, Broken Blade easily would have had the solo kill had he not flashed out of there. So already showcasing that power, and Licorice does not have his TP, so he is going to have to run back to lane. I wouldn't be surprised if Svenskeren tried to hold the wave for him, but doesn't look like he's actually going to head up there just yet. So Licorice will be losing quite a few of these minions just to the turret and bleeding out that XP and gold.
And the one thing we also have to keep our eyes on now, Zeyzal, the fact that both junglers, level 6, flashes up, ults up, means it should be playmaking time for either side. And you can see TSM moving into the enemy jungle now, seeing if maybe there's an opportunity to find something. Picks are so easy when you've got Nautilus chain CC with a Skarner ulti behind it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's such an easy way to actually set that up. Nautilus ult, Skarner ult out of that. You have the Skarner stun, the Nautilus root, the hook. You have the chains coming through, which is an additional stun from Sylas. So really, if you hit any of that, it is going to result in kind of that chain CC. Not quite able to give that blue buff over to Bjergsen, though. Grig did end up getting it, I believe, with the red buff, so a bit of a mistimed Q there from Bjergsen. But at the very least, they have taken that away from Svenskeren, and you're going to be happy to take those resources away from your opponents.
Yep, denial is better than nothing. But one thing about it, I guess it could be a silver lining there for Cloud9, is the fact that the blue would continue to go onto the jungler in this matchup. Yasuo doesn't really have much of a use for a buff that grants 2 stats he doesn't need. So Nisqy will continue being able to farm up just fine. Yeah, that's pretty much the biggest reason to give it over to him, golden experience.
My
so he doesn't
favorite
fall behind
stat.
Bjergsen there. Yeah, exactly. As Nisqy continues to farm up here in the mid lane. Berserker's Greaves completed as Bjergsen grabs himself the arm guard to go up against the Yasuo. Incredibly cost-effective item to buy as an AP champion into an AD matchup. Once it gets stacked, it is incredibly gold efficient. Lots of bang for your buck. Makes it so that opponent cannot easily all-in.
Yep, and if you do end up going out to a side lane, you would be against the Irelia. Guess what? It's great there too. And you can see Broken Blade really starting to harass Licorice under his turret there. Being able to mess around with him, utilizing the buckler, getting it charged, trying to disrupt some of that farming under turret. Broken Blade has tabbies plus this Bomby Cinder, and that's all you need. You just start walking him. You really can't just outside him.
Go for it! Bring down the hammer! Broken Blade with the solo kill!
What a monster! I thought he was just looking to get him low, but he decides to commit for the flash there. Flash stun, they're going in mid lane.
Bjergsen gets himself out of that one. Nisqy thought he could set it up enough with Svenskeren's help. Not quite. So TSM will at least keep their mid laner alive, and they've got to be happy about what happened top.
Yeah, no kidding. When you actually commit your first ultimates mid lane there from the Gragas and Yasuo, you get nothing. And meanwhile, Poppy just solo kills the Irelia. Grig has got to be laughing, and it's going to be feeling really good for them. Here's Licorice going forward. Broken Blade just narrowly avoiding that. Then once you pick up the buckler, you cannot trade into this. He just barely broke the shield. And at this point, steps back, resets the tower, flash, stun, knows Licorice doesn't have it, knocks him down with the ultimate point and click there. Jensen and Yasuo enjoying that one from the crowd. That is rough. And it just gets worse now as the Irelia player. Like, when are you going to have fun in this matchup? Maybe at like 3 or 4 items, but even then it's...
Call me back at 35 minutes.
Yeah.
That's about going to be it. If you're getting solo killed by Poppy before the items are done, just wait until the cape of the gauntlets come in. Bottom side, it's a flash spent by Nisqy to escape the engage from Zven and Smoothie. But top, we're going to have ourselves a battle here yet again. Svenskeren showing up saying, all right, 1v1 don't work. Let's try ourselves a 2v1. Broken Blade turning that one right back around, able to slam Svenskeren into the wall. Instead going to be bursted down himself. And Licorice grabs the kill.
Yeah, nicely done. And they're going for the dive now onto Nisqy. He has no flash.
Bottom side, Zeyzal's now the target. Smoothie taking up the turret. He sticks around a little bit too long. Has to use the hourglass to make sure he doesn't die. But Nisqy gets him in the heart.
Nisqy with the snipe there. They trade kills in the 3v2 dive. That is honestly very well played here by the C9 bottom lane. Gonna be feeling pretty happy about that one and getting that kill on the top side. Really good patience from Svenskeren to wait out the heroic presence. They're now trying to go for this Rift Herald. 3 members up here, but there is a TP coming in. Broken Blade has arrived.
We're not done yet. Bjergsen trying to take this fight a little bit further. Nisqy and Svenskeren both at half HP. It's a numbers advantage for Cloud9. They'll look to turn things back around, but Nisqy's going to be exploding. Bjergsen gets himself away, but Nisqy's made his way into the fight. Grig now looking to find the stun, able to grab one down. Now Svenskeren having to get himself away, can't do it. And TSM will grab 3, make it 4. Smoothie's going fishing. He reeled in a big one, and Licorice is taking a watery grave as TSM will get the fight and get the objective.
Cloud9 trying to take that Rift Herald, not able to finish it off though before TSM arrives, and then TSM at this point in the game, the completed Sunfire and Tabby's already for Broken Blade. He's going to be so ridiculously strong, and they're able to easily take this 3v3. Here's the dive again once more. Flashes were already traded between Smoothie and Nisqy. Nisqy with a great ultimate to peel and back off, creating a lot of space between himself and Smoothie having to use a stopwatch to reset the aggro. The turret goes on to Zven, and that was just a perfectly timed piercing arrow there from Nisqy to get the kill. And as you can see, Nisqy fairly low, Svenskeren fairly low. They do decide Licorice cannot get out, so let's try to turn here. The ultimate comes in from Yasuo, Gragas, but the stopwatch buying time for Bjergsen's. TP's coming in from everyone. Grig arrives, Nisqy comes in, Zven arrives as well with his TP. Both of the marksmen do come in, and Zven has his flash available. Nisqy had already blown his on the bottom side, so he just gets chased down and taken out. TSM out to a huge lead early on. With that Rift Herald, they can grab another turret potentially, and really would be putting themselves into a pretty good spot.
I just moused over it because I was curious, because it's looking like Broken Blade's doing a lot of damage in these fights. That hammer shock from Poppy at level 5 right now, if you hit with both parts, is doing about 250 damage plus 16% of your maximum health. That is incredible from a champion that is building full tank and itemizing super efficiently against the Cloud9 lineup. TSM feeling good about the outcome here so far, but Cloud9 will grab themselves a Cloud Drake. It's going to help them rotate around, and especially with a composition that wants to run a 1-3-1 style, wants to really dominate these side lanes, Cloud Drake could go a long way.
Yeah, and honestly, it's very concerning for C9 now, because if you fall behind against this type of a teamfight composition, it's not as though TSM don't have good forms of engage. You have Nautilus, you have the Sivir ultimate, you have You have Skarner as well, who can be looking for flash ultimates there. So there's so many ways for them to engage. And if you do get ahead, Poppy is going to be stacking armor. Turret dives become very trivial if your solo laners are not there to actually defend. And TSM are going to be able to try to force C9 to group up and actually match them. C9 is going to have to do a really good job of buying time for this Yasuo and for this Irelia to really scale up and get a lot of items before they become pretty relevant.
And now that the top lane tier 1 turret is down, you're going to see more rotations around the map as the teams look to find themselves some collapses, some opportunities. Bottom side, it's TSM who are looking around, prowling around with that vision, trying to make something happen, but Cloud9 has responded. It doesn't look like anybody's going to be baited into a trap just yet. Nisqy is making his way down through the river now to potentially join this fight if it pops off. But you can see on your screen the bottom lane story being told in the gold as Zven is 1,500 up over Sneaky.
Yeah, Sneaky way down on gold, and honestly is going to have a much harder job doing damage anyway when all of his opponents are going to be building probably a fair bit of armor. You know, so much armor already through here on the Poppy. The Seekers has already been completed. They're going to drop Rift mid and look to crack this turret.
All right, Shelly summoned up. Turret at about 3/4 HP. That means one charge alone won't do it. It's going to need a couple more auto attacks. Shelly will get it low. They need to hit the eyeball at least once there, and Cloud9 will hold the line.
Yeah, so Cloud9 do hang on to that turret. Good job there, but you can see how TSM are going to be able to try to force them to kind of group and match, and I do think that is where TSM will look, trying to force around dragons, trying to force around potential barons, and make C9 come to you. The Poppy is just such a good option, for forcing these tower dives because you're going to be stacking so much armor. It becomes, fairly trivial later in the game.
And it's not just armor that TSM are able to build. It's armor against auto attacks. A lot of champions can do plenty of physical damage, not necessarily with auto attacks, but with spells. You think of something like a Riven or something you would see in solo queue or maybe up against FlyQuest. But here, you're up against 3 champions in the Yasuo, the Irelia, the Varus, that do their damage through auto attacks. The Ninja Tabby doing so much work for such a small investment on the side of TSM and the champions like the Skarner, like the Poppy. Glacial Shroud and inventory for Broken Blade tells me, yup, it's Sunfire Iceborne. He's looking to continue smacking these guys around.
Yeah, and I think it's totally fair to also even go for a Frozen Heart. If you want to just 5v5, Frozen Heart I think is also incredibly effective. Iceborne certainly better for the dueling and more damage potential there, but if you're just looking to be a straight up kind of meatball in that front line, the attack speed reduction is really, really powerful for the same reasons that Tabby is.
All right, Svenskeren and Zeyzal in the river. TSM could potentially try to collapse here. Grig wants to capture the Spire. Skarner gets a ton of move speed, unlimited mana, and a ton of attack speed if he gets that, but he won't be able to quite secure it just yet. Grig does have the Flash and the Predator available with his ulti. Same can be fed for Svenskeren. Smoothie barely getting himself away there. Zven not quite finding the initiation he wants. Now having a flash out of the way. Broken Blade coming in. Cloud9's on the retreat. Grig not able to close the distance in time to get off a pull, but he doesn't need to. Tier 1 turret still the target here. TSM, one auto attack away from bringing it down.
Yeah, that is the whiff on the ultimate there from Svenskeren. They wanted to get that Gragas Yasuo combo out onto Smoothie and take him down. Not able to do so, and they lose their bottom tier 1 in the meantime. Now they're going to lose the mid tier 1. The last of the outers will fall, and TSM growing themselves a pretty healthy gold lead here.
I do got to give Smoothie credit for the flash, though. Not a complete whiff from Svenskeren. The aim was on point, but because Smoothie had the summoner spell, it was an easy escape for him to prevent that collapse. And now TSM go up to a 3-0 turret lead, a 2,500 gold advantage over their opponents. Let's take another look here.
Yeah, so here it is, just straight up whiff on the ultimate, then does actually flash the body slam, so a good flash from there, but no real reason to be missing that cask, or at least not be getting the flash from that. Then Svenskeren flashing in retreat. The Nautilus ultimate does get pulled through Zeyzal, so he has to flash an ult in retreat as well. It is the trade of a couple ultimates, but C9 down in summoners off of the play, and they were the ones looking to be proactive there. They were the ones looking to make something happen, and it did backfire.
Next Drake spawning in 15 seconds. Mountain number 1. TSM are the team that currently have control over the pit in terms of the Scuttle Crab, in terms of the Skarner point, and in terms of the vision. Zven trying to get himself away from Nisqy, who goes in. Then with a late spell shield there, just because he was trying to predict when the potential knockup would have come in from Nisqy. Didn't quite get it, but he gets out of the way of the tornado anyway. And now you'll see Cloud9 go up towards the top half of the map. Baron's going to be spawning here in about 15 seconds. But considering there's no option for them to try to sneak it fast this early into the game, TSM's pretty comfortable committing a couple guys towards the trade.
And TSM knows Cloud9 have no interest in team fighting them right now. They cannot approach that dragon and look for any sort of 5v5. You'll get destroyed. So, you know, really, TSM doesn't have to commit too much to taking this. They will be able to easily grab this, and that does increase the speed of their Baron take later on. Certainly something that C9 is going to have to be worried about. It's another area on the map that TSM can set up around and try to force C9 to come and answer. You can get to a situation later on where you're threatening to start that Baron and forcing C9 to come around. Then you just turn and look for a pick with Sivir, Skarner, Nautilus. That is such a powerful turn and fight from TSM.
TSM's AD carry is now on 2.5 items towards that 3-item power spike that Sivir really just comes online with. Looking across the table, Sneaky's got a Blade of the Ruined King and an extra recurve bow, but that is just not the same power level.
Yeah, I mean, he's 2k down because a lot of that turret gold has gone the way of Zven. He has the additional kill also, so you know, he is the beneficiary of a lot of that extra gold injection, and with a PD this early on, that makes it even more difficult for these divers to actually one-combo him. That is really kind of what you're looking for if you did have to get to a team fight for C9. Feels like Yasuo, Gragas, Irelia must instantly kill that Sivir, but he's sitting on a stopwatch. He has a PD. He might even go GA next.
Yeah,
honestly, it's totally defensible because you don't need to maximize DPS against a team like C9 is running. You just need to survive the initial burst, and all the CC and kind of damage that's going to be coming out over time for TSM will likely win in that long run.
Nisqy not quite at that 2-item spike that'll give the Yasuo 100% crit chance just yet. Still going to be waiting to see that one. The other item that's jumping out to me from the inventories, if you look at Grig, has the Giant's Belt, meaning he's going to be going for one of those more big-ticket tank items. A lot of times you see Skarner go for the Righteous Glory. Sometimes if he's behind, he'll even go for the super budget option in the Knight's Vow. But this time around, he's saying, no thank you, sir. Just going to be another big meatball.
Yeah, I mean, I think Deadman's and Randuin's both great options here. You know, both incredibly effective. Deadman's a little bit more of the kind of aggressive option, the additional move speed for your engage, kind of helping out where you would normally have that Righteous Glory, but also Randuin's just always so good against Yasuo because it is that 100% crit on 2 items. You're going to be reducing an incredible amount of damage, and the reduced attack speed there, quite nice too. So we'll have to see what route he does end up taking, but you know, a lot of big items are coming through for TSM. You know, the Zonia's is now completed. You can see the Iceborne plus Sunfire done for Broken Blade. He is still going to be very happy in that 1v1 against Licorice. Get to see this play out.
Speaking of 1v1s against Licorice, Bjergsen finds himself in a losing end of one, but Grig has made his way into the fight now, going to be providing some backup, dragging his opponent around the corner so there's no escape, and that's going to turn it around for TSM.
Yeah, Licorice was winning that 1v1 against Bjergsen there, was doing a very good job, but Grig shows up, they get the easy kill, and no one is answering Broken Blade. So Broken Blade, you know, with the Sheen from the Iceborne, is going to be working away at this turret pretty quickly. It does really speed up that turret take for him. Poppy not normally very good at doing this, but not too hard when you have the Iceborne this early on, and now Wave's going to be pushed in bot side, they lose the turret top side, TSM winning across the map.
And this is the tails side of the coin we were talking about in Champion Select, the All-AD comp. But let's take another look at how Licorice almost won for 1v1.
Yeah, hits the initial stun, ultimate for the double Q reset. This stopwatch buying a lot of time, then able to flash out of the next Irelia stun, retreating back towards Grig. No chance for Licorice once he shows up, and the rest of the C9 squad were zoned out by some more TSM members, so they could not get in to actually help him out. But, you know, Licorice is going to need to be able to make these sorts of plays. C9 needs to be winning 1v1s, 2v1s, 2v2s in the side lane, I feel like, to really have much of a hope in this game.
And you can see by Nisqy's build, he's going completely committed to the side lane with Bloodthirster being the second item, not immediately rushing for the 2-item crit, not going after that Infinity Edge for maximum DPS. Instead wants to make sure he's able to sustain and duel in those side lanes. But Cloud9 is still pretty far behind here, it seems, as TSM will now abdicate control over the Baron pit.
Yeah, and Bloodthirster, especially alongside Conqueror, you know, is going to make it so you can likely just out-heal most of what Poppy can do. You know, in that sort of a matchup, it's certainly going to become hard for Poppy in an extended 1v1 to be able to get much done. So, as you say, it is more about that side lane play. But likewise, that is why TSM is setting up all this vision around the Baron. You know, 3 pink wards in a line here. They are going to look to try to set up in this area, to try to set up around objectives. We have another dragon coming up, and TSM will just continue stacking up all of these neutral advantages that they can grab.
Top side, Broken Blade against Nisqy, 1v1 bringing out here as Broken Blade just denies him with a steadfast presence. Nisqy will not be able to continue this engage. Svenskeren can't come in and help, and Broken Blade walks away. Meanwhile, TSM the bottom side, another turret.
Exactly. Every time C9 goes for one of these punches, they're not able to teamfight, so they have to just move away from the TSM squad and give up pretty much whatever TSM wants to take. In this case, it is another turret. It's also going to very likely be a dragon, but TSM is trying to clear out C9 vision. They want to be able to be in a position where they can force C9 to face check into them, where they can get these sorts of engages around the bear and force those team fights. For now, it's going to be about the mid lane control, though, as Zven is shoving this out. He did go for the IE third, going to be sitting on that stopwatch for now, but he is at such a strong point in the game, a full item ahead of Nisqy, and going to be really difficult to get on top of when you have to fight through Skarner, Sylas, Nautilus, and Poppy as these divers.
And I always think that it's pretty much never a wrong choice to wait to evolve the item while you still have the stopwatch.
Yeah, I think it's totally fine.
Such an incredibly useful single-use item. Yeah, once it's gone and you have that just piece of trash in your inventory that doesn't do anything, might want to upgrade that. But Sven's feeling just fine right now. Picks up the Ocean Drake now for his team. 2-1 Drake lead for the side of TSM. 5K up almost, couple hundred shy of that mark. But with Randuin's now completed under Grig, the front line continues getting tankier and tankier. Cloud9 still a way away from being able to break that. Titanic Hydra done for Licorice, though, means he's going to continue to be threatening in those side lanes. We've already seen that he can take down Bjergsen 1v1. But the question is, can you get those 1v1s? Because it's just not working out so far.
Yeah, the pace of the game is just so much in TSM's favor. You know, C9 needs those types of plays. Like, this is why they're sending Nisqy down to try to collapse on Bjergsen. They need kills in the side lane to delay the game, to buy more time for them to try to pull something off. And he is going to go in. We'll see if they can catch Bjergsen. Nope. Not going to happen. So, you know, C9 it's up to them to try to make these things happen because TSM has an uncontestable team fight. They are on the bear, and now, this is what I was talking about earlier, C9 forced to come over here, and TSM can just turn and fight. You don't have to 50-50 this.
2 TPs coming in now as TSM will decide to go after the fight. Broken Blade, he's able to find the knockback on the enemy support. Now the fight's going to be breaking out. Nisqy into the back line, going to be suppressed, dragged backwards. Broken Blade's going to be killed off first. Cloud9's able to find themselves a fight. It's 2-0. They're looking to make it even more. Bjergsen's able to find himself a triple kill over to Bjerg. He will go down, but he will not go down without a fight. And Cloud9 looks for even more. Sneaky and Zeyzal pursuing Smoothie, looking to go even further underneath the turret, and Sneaky hits him with another arrow.
Incredibly well done there by C9. They actually come out on top in the 5v5. Such good job actually utilizing the wind wall as well as the unbreakable from Braum to deny a lot of the damage coming through from Sivir. And let's watch this one more time. So in comes the Irelia. I feel like TSM could have just kind of backed off and tried to hark him into the side. They look for the Poppy ult. They do knock out the Braum immediately, and then they turn onto Licorice here, but Svenskeren ultimate hits 3 into the back line. The ult comes through from Yasuo, and that wind wall was just zoning Zven out the entire time. Through all of that CC, throughout all of the entire Skarner ultimate, Zven got no auto attacks off because of a great wind wall there from Nisqy, and that really was the game changer there, as Nisqy was able to be free firing, getting those auto attacks off, and despite the triple kill coming through from Bjergsen, it is C9 that get the extra kill and do kind of extend their lease on life in this game. You can see Nisqy now going to be building towards the IE, but TSM right back to the scene of the crime. They're on the Baron.
See if TSM can make this one work out better than last time.
Bjergsen's on the side.
Bjergsen, the man who was the hero for TSM in the last fight, as the Braum ultimate stolen in case he needs to disengage, trying to get himself away now. Nisqy looking to go for the solo ult. Bjergsen going to be taken down very low, not going to be killed off just yet. Cloud9 still looking to find themselves a fight. Broken Blade nearly taken down. He's isolated. He's out of there.
C9 are making it work in these team fights. It's so impressive. This is such a difficult team to actually fight into 5v5, but Cloud9 are making it happen. They now have control around the Baron. And they are not going to start it up just yet. They are just going to push out mid lane. We'll see if they want to try to force it, but it doesn't look like that'll be the case. But every time they get one of these kills, they're pulling closer in gold, but they're also buying more time for their split pushers, for these guys to build up in items and really get to a strong point in the game.
And we've all seen the solo queue Yasuo, 1-11, typing the 1v1 me bro in the all chat for the entire game. But if you goof around too much, if you let it get to 40 minutes, all of a sudden, this guy who's been a soup kitchen is going to actually threaten your best carry.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter what your score is. Once you get enough items, you can take down anyone. QSS has come through for both Sneaky as well as Nisqy, so more playmaking ability. They don't have to be as scared of this Skarner now. Sneaky is on 3 items here too. So certainly they are ramping up. IE will be coming in next for Nisqy, and that is where he is going to be absolutely terrifying.
And I make the comparison to the feeding solo queue Yasuo, but it's not like Nisqy's even behind.
No, he's doing very well.
He's 1, 2, and 4. He's even on CS. If you look at the farm, he is down about 1,500, but a lot of that is located in turrets and plates and similar global objectives acquired by TSM as a team. Nisqy's going to be very scary very soon. Once that IE is completed, Yasuo will shred these health bars.
And I'm honestly really surprised that we've seen TSM not able to win these team fights whatsoever. Cloud9 has just been playing it so well. They have done a good job buying time, from a deficit, and now they are the ones looking to perhaps set up a pick around the Baron. It is Broken Blade down in that bottom lane. He is pushing this out, so the 4-man squad from TSM has to be a bit on the defensive. And we'll see, is C9 just going to start the Baron, or are they going to answer? And it looks like the option for now is heading towards that Baron. I think they're going to start it up.
Right now, they're just baiting TSM in.
You got to do something. You either have to base or start the Baron. It's one or the other.
And here comes the decision. It is going after the Baron itself. Started up, but not going down exceptionally quickly. TP coming in. TSM looking to fight this one. Remember, it's TSM that have started off the past couple of fights, and it's TSM that have lost them. Chain of Corruption comes out, but it's not going to do a whole lot. That was Bjergsen's stolen ultimate from Sneaky.
Yeah, and that was really well done from C9. That's all you need to get is the TP off Broken Blade. As soon as he TPs, you just back off. They may lose their turret as a result, so TSM, getting the inner track on mid lane, that was well done. But, Nisqy gonna get ulted out there by a stolen Gragas ult. So they do have TP advantage now. They're gonna have the TP on Licorice earlier. Remember, Nisqy is running Ignite, not Teleport, so it is harder for him to be out in those side lanes, and that is why they're gonna send Licorice. Bjergsen, his Teleport, gonna be up shortly after Licorice's, but Cloud9 will reset, will try to get side lane pushing out, and then try to get vision once again around this Baron. So much of the game is gonna depend on it. If Cloud9 are able to take it, the 1-3-1 becomes incredibly powerful. And likewise, if TSM grab the Baron, you just walk straight down mid lane with 5 members, and C9 can no longer really wave clear effectively against that.
And you can see all solo laners are level 16 now. Licorice actually checking level 17 here just a moment ago, but that means so much specifically for Bjergsen. The Sylas can now constantly steal ultimates. You've got a 12-second cooldown between them, just getting new ones, tossing them out there, get another one, toss it out there, and it gives him so much potential in these fights to have another pop-off moment, because honestly, the fight where they almost just got destroyed at Baron the first time could have been disastrous. It could have been game-losing if not for that triple kill you got.
Yeah, it certainly could have, and you have some pretty good ultimates to steal here. The Varus ultimate pretty solid, Braum and Gragas, and those are okay. Gragas ultimate can be game-changing, so you certainly still have the ability to ult someone like Sneaky into the backline and try to take him out that way. That being said, it's always going to be more difficult to do that when you're up against a Braum who could actually block that ultimate from coming through.
Well, Cloud9 got the 1099s in. The taxes are paid. QSS for Nisqy and Sneaky. Svenskeren likely working on one of his own here. You can see the Null Magic Mantle in inventory. Means Grig's options are getting slimmer and slimmer as this game moves forward. Always a nightmare for Skarner when the enemy is close enough in gold and combat power to feel comfortable buying those QSSs. Smoothie Spider-Man's himself away from a potential engage as Licorice was looking on the flank there. Cloud9 so comfortable right now in this game. They were down 5,000 gold earlier. It seemed like TSM was always on the front foot, but ever since those two messes up there at the Baron, it's been Cloud9 that seemingly are back in the driver's seat.
Yeah, certainly the case, and they are getting closer and closer to this IE on Yasuo. I think they probably want to wait for this, but it looks like there's going to be a fight.
Nope, we got ourselves a fight, and that's going to be a big pull coming out from Grig onto Zeyzal, who's still somehow going to be kept alive, getting himself away. Svenskeren going to be fighting Bjergsen off the side. Grig going to be killed now by Cloud9. Licorice taken very low into the back line. He goes. Not quite able to find the damage onto Zven, who goes on a killing spree, killing that enemy top laner. Svenskeren into the hourglass. Not going to be kept alive too much longer, except he will. It's a kill for Broken Blade onto Zeyzal. TSM's got a Quadra. TSM is marching down mid lane, and I think that's the game.
That should be it. TSM, the Quadra kill onto Zven. They can close this one out. The respawn timer's far too long, it looks like, on C9.
415 CS Silver Wing condition. That's all you need. 5 items in the inventory, pair of boots on your feet, and some boomerangs into Cloud9, and TSM are on to Nexus turrets. 10 seconds left before even Zeyzal comes up. There is no way to defend this one. And against many people's expectations, TSM will take down Cloud9 yet again.
A very well played game here from